to you, and a good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is brunch time with Mayegun live. And thank you very much for joining me. You know what to do, right? You know what to do after reading the caption of the broadcast. Read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it, hear it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them it is brunch time again with Mayegun. If your own audio is probably lower, you should increase it. Apart from that, I think the audio is perfect. Okay. So this noon, we are catching up on, the expected possible, the possible legal, confrontation between Peter Obi and Deji Adeyanju. To some people, right, they believe that, you know, Peter Obi writing Deji Adeyanju, Peter Obi's legal team writing Deji Adeyanju to retract all the, false allegations and then the narratives he's been spewing about Obi. While others are like, no, that's just a distraction. You shouldn't have given him what he wants. He wanted his attention and he's gotten it. So, brethren, this morning or this afternoon, we are going to probably like a dig it as we normally do from how it all started. So, we are going to take it back to 2022 when Peter Obi shown interest in becoming the presidential candidate of the PDP. And around that time, or should I say, it was a moment before that time, that someone like Deji, of course, who started by being a social critic, then he became, or he attempted to become the PDP national youth leader, but somehow he got beaten to it, right? So after that, he just went fully on activism. And in that regard, right, he became one of the political opinionists. There's a word like that in Nigeria. So when Peter Obi declared that he wanted to, and this is weird. Sorry, I'm trying something out, right? Because it's actually one of those glasses that you could probably capture the moment with. Right, this is better. You see clearly, right? So when Peter Obi uh, decided to join their race in 2022, it all started from the PDP. And remember, again, this is just a little bit throwback. The likes of Deji and most of the SPV boys, they were mostly Atifu's boys until that last minute, or were seen to be. So in 2019, they were all seems to be in the same camp. And to them, if APC must go in 2023, all these guys have to come together, blah, 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 blah. So Obi started the consultation. Like he was actually the only guy who probably traveled all over the country, state by state, meeting the PDP delegates, telling them what he intends to do and blah, blah, blah. Until Wike told them in Anambra that he can't win, doesn't have what it takes to win. Give me the power. Let me go and take the power from the APC for you. These are throwbacks, so I'm trying to kind of chump them, pick the relevant ones there so that it can make up, the understanding that we need to pick out of this eventually. So when it became obvious that Air Force One, right, it's just like everything just looks so dark, and I felt like I'm in the dark and I'm just trying to speak into the void. You get? But I'll put it back on. Let's see if that charging lasts that long. Okay, sorry about that. Now, When Obi realized that it was going to be a money game, and it was obvious it was going to be between Wirewike and Atiku, who would outspend, each other. So he bounced. So within the time that Obi was making the move to leave the PDP and look for a party, right? That was when Deji Adeyanju actually started picking on him. Number one, probably the permutation of everybody stay in PDP in one place to dethrone APC. And it was seen then as, Obi pulling out, right, was at the early stage, a Tifnubu's agenda to demystify or destroy PDP at the time. This was like early stage. So then he came out, he said he was against Obi's move because Obi can't even win anything. So you see these banters were going on social media, left, right, and center. And it was also the heat of the movement for the obedient movement, just sprouting up then, right? So if you said anything about Peter Obi back then, right, you will see enough angry Nigerians who were there to strip you naked, like literally online. Meanwhile, before then, the social media in Nigeria, there are those they call the political influencers. Deji was one of them. He's got a very, very, great pool on all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, name it. So, meanwhile, back then too, if you are able to have a substantial followership on social media, that could be a fortune for you, for the politicians that are going to approach you. So they were the real big boys. So to somebody like Deji at the early stage, you disobedient, you don't have an idea, you don't understand how politics works. So it was the fight between these old takers, influencers, PDP, APC, versus the angry Nigerians who ended up being the obedient, right? It was these exchanges that actually triggered a lot of people to become sworn enemies of Peter Obi. Because when you kind of roll it back a bit further, majority of all these guys who are like, about Obi this and that, they actually used to love him. I don't know, like it's somebody they said, everybody knows that doesn't give money to buy loyalty. Do you get that now? So the battle of that time, in case if some of you have forgotten, created villains in so many of these guys, to the point that they were all looking for ways to get back at this Obi. To make themselves feel better. First, they swallowed every good things they've said about him before he said he wanted to be president. Then they now kind of put him in a box and his supporters. That's somebody like Deji, who has never really participated in any real election. And the first one he attempted, he was completely eased out by those who are weightier than him. So he became an expert in politics, like an expert who has so much opinion on how things will go. Then he started bragging on social media that if Peter Obi wins a single state, he will respect him for life, right? Then he went on to say, if he managed to score just 1 million votes, in fact, Deji Adeyanju will respect him for the rest of his life again. All of this, he swallowed them back because the obedient, because majority of those who used to look up to people like him, I'm using him as a contact point. There are many, many like that. So some of them ended up in APC. The same APC they criticized, and many of them remained with PDP. Others pretended to be neutral. But the bottom line was that the people who used to follow them, listen to them and say, very, very interesting. God bless you. In fact, you are so, for years under Bukwari, so they were the go-to. the media in Nigeria invites them, interviews them, different things. They are like the go-to. So them being demystified because of this Peter Obi, and it all started with just one single post. Just say something like this, and you start seeing those who used to say, God bless you, Jare. Man, you are so intelligent. All of them started saying, man, I'm so disappointed in you. Man, I didn't even know that this guy is so foolish. So in reaction, most of these guys just took it upon themselves to face this Obi. And there's nothing he's not said, or they've not said. And there are many like that, except for Showore. That one's never been their pals and all of that. But when you see Reno Mokri and Deji and the rest of them, you can tell that their reactions and their inflammatory sort of like statement, divisive and inciting statements, is kind of like from how the obedient, right, have almost rendered them so politically irrelevant like that. I don't know how young you are, you that is watching this. I just thought I should give you that background, that everything that now led to their 2023, as well as the whole process, everything, up to this moment, it was just like everybody everybody had crossed the Rubicon, meaning, you see, the hatred that has now been built, this guy can only survive on this hatred by maintaining it. So Deji said that Peter Obi called him, invited him to his place, when he was the presidential candidate of Labour Party, I think. That is not clear because he's been like back and forth with this supposed meeting. In one text, he said the meeting lasted for 3 hours. A year later, he said the meeting lasted for 2 hours. And in this inconsistency, he remained resolute by saying Obi offered him money. He said when he was leaving, Peter Obi offered him money, and he said it is a thank you for coming money. And that is the man they are calling a saint. Why was he offering me money when we only came to discuss his presidential ambition? And when we were leaving, he offered me money that thank you for coming, and I rejected it. Now waiting the obedient tell him to prove this and that for years now, and his only fight back is to go lower and lower on proving jargons. I have to say that because there are so many of you who have been trying to repeat some of these jargons as well, because it makes you feel better. And this is the contraption where if your criminal leaders, right, actually have something on him, it will be the best time to demystify him, cut him short, and get done with him. He boldly came out and said, right, if you find any penny of Anambra State missing when he was their governor, and if you can bring that out right now, he will stop all this talk about him want to be president or not. And nobody has been able to bring any. But there has been so many other things made up. So, like I said, it's the background. He's a politician like others. However, his supporters with a proven public record believes that he may be a politician, but he's not like others. Until you bring something out to show that he's different and he's corrupt and all that stuff, making things up will not change their mind. In this case, right, they are there to rattle those who are pretty much like now sworn critic of Obi and all that. So everybody woke up, yesterday, everyone woke up and what was trending was that, a law firm has sent a letter to Deji, that he needed to retract everything he said, all the lies he said about Obi, or is going to end up in court. And you know that Deji has done well for himself as well. Like, let's give that to him. After being one of the SPV boys of PDP for a while, the lucky boys and all that, he changed and metamorphosed into a human rights activist. in which he's been, you know, imprisoned several times. He has been brutalized like others, right? And he has also gone as far as, getting himself a law degree, become a lawyer. Today, he's got his own law firm, I think in Abuja, and he's, human rights lawyer now, not just human rights activists. So this might be his own turf, right? Let us play legal. So what did the law firm send? Let's look through for a moment. Right. So they said they demand for retraction, an apology for defamatory publications against Obi. So I'll read in part, okay? So we act as solicitors to His Excellency Obi, former governor of Anambra State and presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, the hereinafter referred to as our client. We write to you on his express instructions, rather. His express instructions. It has been brought to our client's attention that through your social media handle, Adeyanju Deji, on the platform X, formerly known as Twitter, you have repeatedly published false, malicious, and grossly defamatory statements concerning him, calculated to injure his reputation before right-thinking members of the Nigerian public and the international community. Aside the earlier defamatory posts on your X handle, some of which date back to 2022, our client's attention has been drawn particularly to your recent publication on 21st August 2025, wherein you falsely alleged against him that, in quotes, Peter Obi can only be president of the obedient on social media. You see, that's my one vote. I will rather give it to Tinubu than the leader of the mob. Political extremists who do not want Nigerians to criticize their presidential candidates have no place in our polity. For those of you who have been following their politics like myself, again, you will realize that most of these guys don't really have any problem with Obi. Their problem is coming from their inability to engage with disobedience constructively or otherwise. Like when you're abusing yourselves, abuse yourselves. But they were just the type, that when you have a fight with them, right, in public, look at your head like Bangolo, your leg like a broomstick, your this and that, and then they will start crying, and the only comeback is going to be, your mama, you go better for your papa, your mama, that your mama that is, that your papa that is, that your, that stuff, because to them, that will make them feel better and possibly get you mad. Do you understand now? Because they can't really confront you, they can't fight you, so to say. But yeah, he called them the mob. And the letter continues. They said, in quote again, if Obi feels I have ever defamed him, let him sue me. Stop crying on his behalf. Let him sue me so that I can bring out evidence to prove the things I have said against him. I said I met him and he tried to give me money and called it thank you for coming. It's 100% true. I said he took Anambra State funds and invested in his family business. It is true. And lastly, I said he is a religious bigot for using religion to campaign. Is also true. Off quote. These false allegations are the latest in a series of publications you have made on your X account over the years, including but not limited to the following. 1. On the 6th August 2025, you alleged that, quote, Peter Obi is a religious bigot for using religion to campaign during the last presidential election, of quote. 2. On 4th March 2024, you stated that, quote, Peter Obi is a fraud. I am 100% sure he pays all the influencers promoting him online. He tried to pay me after I met him for a 2 hours meeting at his instance during the campaign. He called the money. Thank you for coming. I repeat, Obi is a fraud.